friends, fellow beer geeks. I'm Wes, the craft beer geek, and I have another beer review for you tonight. As you see, tonight's beer is from Sierra Nevada. This is their 2012 Hoptimum Imperial IPA. It's a whole cone IPA is what they're calling it. I've actually never heard of this beer before until just recently. I saw some reviews of it, and apparently this is something they've done before, but I've just never seen it, never tried it. But this is the 2012 vintage. Comes in at 10.4% ABV. They're calling it an Imperial whole cone IPA, and I paid $4 for a 12-ounce bottle of this. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, get it into a glass, and let you know what I think of it. I did just happen to notice that this was bottled exactly 90 days ago, so it is not particularly fresh. But even though it's an Imperial IPA, so it should keep well. But just note that this is not a fresh, super fresh bottle. It's right sort of at the limit where a lot of breweries will tell you that it's not good anymore. But I'm going to go with the fact that it's an Imperial IPA, that it should be pretty good. Okay, this is poured out a typical sort of very clear, light amber sort of Sierra Nevada pale ale sort of color. Maybe slightly darker than their standard pale ale, or maybe more of like a torpedo color to it. Did get a nice fluffy head on here, very rocky. Quite a bit of carbonation streaming up from the bottom of this glass. This is a New Belgian glass that I'm drinking out of that has etching on the bottom, so it does have some there's quite a bit of carbonation coming up from the bottom. Let's see what the aroma's like. Okay, I'm getting a little bit of pine, a little bit of grapefruit sort of aroma in the nose. Just a very typical sort of pale ale sort of smell to it. It doesn't smell a whole lot different from their standard Sierra Nevada pale ale. So let's go ahead and give this a taste, and I'll let you know what I think. Cheers. Okay, first impressions, it's very bitter and very sweet. The body is a lot thinner than I expected, even though it's still pretty heavy. It's sort of medium to heavy body. It's not real sticky and syrupy like you get a lot when you get up into this sort of range of gravities. I mean, I'm getting like a light caramel, almost like a candy sweetness to it. Like a sweet tart or something, you know, powdered sugar sort of sweetness, sort of that dry sweet. I think the dryness from the hops, and then the sweetness from the malts is coming in. It definitely does have a very very high amount of carbonation to it. Is very active on your tongue. Yeah, I think this is probably experiencing some age problems. Like I said, it's been in the bottle exactly 90 days today when I'm reviewing this, and it's like I said, it's very bitter, but some of the hop flavor is just not there. There's a little bit of a piney note to it, but it's just not as strong as I think it probably was at first. I'll have to try and get this again next year, and hopefully I'll get it within the first month of it being in the bottle. Maybe I'll be able to get more of the hop flavors from it. There are some nice sort of some nice piney hop aromas coming off of it, but it's so sweet and malty that it's just not enough to overpower the maltiness of it. Like I said, the flavors I think have faded somewhat on this. It's still an enjoyable beer. I mean, it's definitely, I'm definitely enjoying drinking it. You know, it's nice and bitter and high gravity and sugary, caramelly sort of aspects of it, and yeah, it's very tasty, but it is a little bit old. So I think I've given you a pretty good description of this beer, and I'll go ahead and give it a number rating, but it doesn't really hold much weight, as I said, this is 90 days old right now, so it's not it's not at its peak. It's something definitely, if you do buy it, make sure you get a fresher bottle than this, and drink it immediately. This is not something you would want to cellar or anything like that. I don't think the malt bill is not really that crazy or anything. It's just a really nice sort of Imperial IPA, and I think you want to drink it immediately. So with that being said, I'm going to have to give this particular bottle, what I'm drinking right now, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying drinking it. I think it could be better. I think it probably was better. But for now, it's a 7 out of 10. Hopefully next year I can revisit it and get a fresher bottle. It's not always easy getting fresh Sierra Nevada here in Florida. Sometimes it just sits around, and the distributors don't always do a good job of bringing the stuff out. I remember last year when they were doing their anniversary series stuff, it was like 2 to 3 months after it was released we were getting it here. So it's crazy. If it's not one of their high volume products, it's always difficult. But yeah, 7 out of 10. I think it was probably a lot better. I think it's worth a try. It's not too extremely priced, and yeah, I think that's all I had to say about it. I want to thank you for watching. You can check out this review plus more over at craftbeergeek.com, and remember, I don't drink bad beers. You shouldn't either. We'll see you next time. Cheers.